In our first 2 years of production, Traveltelevision has focused on the volunteers rebuilding the Gulf Coast of the U.S. after Hurricanes Rita and Katrina. There are many people helping to bring back the Gulf, and in this episode we will revisit some of our favorite stories.
I'm Briggs Cheney and my wife Susie. We've been coming down to New Orleans now for 3 years, at least for me, and I know for Susie because we talk a lot about it. She's a counselor and I'm a lawyer. I don't think well, I won't speak for her. I often feel I don't accomplish much in my life. When I've been down here on these week trips the last few years, I've truly felt as if I've been doing something that's meaningful, and it's been a real experience. All you have to do is talk to the people around here, and everyone believes in what's going on, and I think just for us, when we came here yesterday, there was nothing behind us, and in the course of yesterday and today, we're now about ready to put the roof up, and so it's kind of exciting. It is something we can see when we leave today.
If you have time and at least a week to commit anytime to come down, they'll put you to work doing something that will be helpful. Whether it's working on houses or community centers or just working outreach to the poor, there's lots to be done.
On the first day that residents were allowed to return to their communities and neighborhoods in New Orleans, S.D. Blanchard brought her camera to capture the return of the residents to what had been their homes. This documentary captures the first visits back to the destroyed neighborhoods.
On December 1st, 2005, I went to the lower Ninth Ward of New Orleans on the first day that residents were allowed into their neighborhood to visit their homes. It had been 3 months since Hurricane Katrina. My name is S.D. Blanchard, and these are the stories of the people I met.
Heaven she rides, heaven she rides me down. Heaven she rides, heaven she rides me down.
What are you doing here today, ma'am?
This great historic neighborhood has been opened up to the people who have made it great, who've raised their children, and who've had dreams for their grandchildren. And here, because my heart is here, connected to theirs, in sorrow, in disbelief, in confusion, in anger, but with a fierce determination to pick up our lives from out of the ashes that have been left behind because of the waters of Katrina, and because of the slow movement and no movement of the federal response to the devastating suffering of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama.
My boy broke the bedroom window upstairs, and that's how, but all this here was flooded. All around here, all that was all flooded. And my boy saved my daughter and her 3 little children, another lady, and her 3 little children, and 2 men floated from somewhere, and he took and saved them. And I came to peep to see. I said, y'all watch for the water. And when we got right there to peep at that front end on that bed, in the bedroom over there, that water came on up, and that water pushed me. When that water pushed me, I said, oh no, y'all. I said, we got to get out of here. So we came and we pulled that ladder down. When we pulled that ladder down, from there, then my boy went out and saved the city. Thank God. Water was all the way up here, and we was all up here in the log. But there's a bigger hole on the side there, where he snatched all us from. And that's how we got out. Yeah, they know that liver wasn't fixed right. They should have been handled up on that, but look, all the people got drowned. That's what I thank God. My life.
This is an awful situation. I didn't realize how bad it was, because actually I was getting angry when I would talk to my friends and family, and they would say, I'm not coming back to New Orleans. I'm like, don't say that, you know. But now that I've been here for 28 hours, I see exactly what they mean. It's something hard to come back to. I know it's hard for you to imagine, but this was once a beautiful home. This was once a beautiful living room, believe it or not. Be careful because it's really bad, you know. This was a lovely kitchen at one time.
What was the best thing you guys used to cook here?
Oh, gumbo. Gumbo, seafood, and red beans and rice and fried chicken. You better believe it.
My name is Jesse Ellis Jr., Jazz Man.
I'm living now in Greensburg, Louisiana. Watch your step. This is my bedroom. I have a dresser up under the bed. That's all my clothes from here all the way to the end there. That's all my clothes. That's old collectible 35 albums here. 33 that'll never be able to be played again. It's just total devastation everywhere. I ain't never seen nothing like this before in my life. Books that I read, I can't read no more. All my CDs is all gone. It's music. What's the music? I only do so much today. I ain't got time.
A lot of my family and friends made it out fine. Right behind me is my cousin's home, basically where him and his family live. And he's trying to salvage some of his things and his personal property.
My neighbor's house that's sitting right here, it's a black and white double, right there. I got family, friends, cousins. You know, just think was just that you realize you had so much. And it just poof, nobody knew. I tell people, they say, oh, you going back? I said, I can't explain to you or answer that without you seeing this area. It's almost like an aftermath of a war. But at the same time, you know, I thank Lord every morning I wake up. My family, my mom. But this is etched in our minds for the rest of our lives. What's happening now? My little boy would tell me, I want to go home, Daddy. I want to go home, I want to play with my toys. It's just, if that don't get you in your heart, you're not a human.
I'm a New Orleans evacuee. I lost everything, and I just really can't believe what's really going on in New Orleans right now. They're lying to people. They're telling people that, come on back to New Orleans, come on back. What is it come back to New Orleans for? Talk about 6 months away from now. Hurricane season will be working up again in 6 months again. Tell the truth. What's really going on? Why should people even come back to New Orleans and you ain't got a plan yet for the levee board yet? You know why? Because you're murderers. You killed all of us. You killed plenty of people. And y'all gonna have to answer to God for that.
I've been out of my house like 3 months. They have my insurance people haven't gave me a dime. FEMA haven't gave me a dime. And I'm living out of my car. I'm living in an old piece of house up in the country. And they won't give me nothing. And they won't pay me for my loss of youth. But they took my $500-something a year for my insurance. And they won't pay. And that's all I got to say because I'm getting mad, I'm getting disgusted. I feel like doing like them people putting a bomb on me and just blowing up everything because the insurance people not right. That everybody having a problem with the insurance people, but they take their money.
If I would have took too long to make a decision, it would have been the wrong decision. So basically, our decision was to just jump in the truck. And we jumped in the truck and we got right here to, what is that, Claiborne and Caffin. right by the school. That's as far as we got. And my stepdad told me, get out. Me and my baby and my mom, just get out. And, you know, he handed me a ice chest so I can float. She went under about 3 times. And, you know, like I said, I asked, when she went under, I asked God just to put her back in my hand because it was that murky water and all I could do was just reach. And I grabbed her like that and just pulled her up and pulled her on my shoulders. I said, this is where you're gonna stick at. And once I got to the school, I really, you know, I was in the mix of it. The wind, the rain, the water. I'm saying people just floating by your own doors or anything they could find, it was floating. So when I got rescued, it was just water, you know, just rooftops. So I was like, oh, it's gonna, once the water go down, everything's gonna be okay. But now that I'm back, I don't really see no rebuilding. I really don't. I don't see how people are going to start over because it's really hard. By me just looking at it, it hurts me. You know, I done rode around and this is basically my hood. You know, I've been in this hood for 24 years and this is all I've known. And for me to just come and just basically see that nothing's here. My faith is stronger now because I am a survivor. You know, I survived this. And I believe if I can survive this, I can survive anything. You know, anything that comes my way, I can do it. You know, I'm only 24 years old. You know, and there's a lot of people that can't start over, you know, that's up in that age that can't start over. I have a clean sheet of paper now, you know, and I can start with the date and just go ahead on. A new chapter of my life has been started. I'm really becoming to love Birmingham, but, you know, deep down in my heart and in my soul, New Orleans will always be my home.
So much of what makes New Orleans special and unique begins a sense of family, a sense of connectivity with neighbors, knowing one another. There are the rumor mills and there are misstatements and misrepresentations of distortions to put fear in people and to make them walk away from their investments and from their legacy. This is the United States of America, and there is great capacity, and this is investment. This is 59% home ownership. These are families who own their home. Property rights are a paramount right in these United States. And as this great country can rebuild foreign nations, this great country can rebuild this historic neighborhood that is a part of the soul of New Orleans.
All of my ghosts have become one empty night.
Some people are back living in their homes, and then some people are just not back.
Recovery in the Reverend Connie Thomas's New Orleans neighborhood reflects her own personal journey, progressing, coming back, finally.
Hey, my Angela, I love you so much. I love you too.
For every old friend who finally returns, another is gone for good. So it is with Thomas's life mission as well. Like her home, the United Methodist Church she served was wrecked in the storm. Decommissioned, it's now for sale as is.
Every day this church was open and filled with young people from around the community, and I don't know where those children are.
But she's quickly back in the present.
You live with knowing that you're being healed every day.
Now Thomas leads a new church, Mount Zion United Methodist. It's accomplishing much against the odds. A health clinic has begun operating in the church.
What the clinic represents for me also is cutting-edge ministry.
The clinic sets up Tuesday nights in the room where services are held, which isn't the sanctuary. That still looks like it did right after Katrina.
When I hear the roofers, it makes me feel that it's happening.
The work ahead still stretches to the horizon, in the church building and all around her. And Connie Thomas stays right in the middle of it all, between complete disaster and an optimistic future.
There really are memories that I have, that I always have, but in the midst of it, I know that God is there, and I just have this confidence that it's going to be okay, and it is already okay.
Rebuilding a Baptist church, next on Travel Television.
Many groups have given up their own time and vacations to help in the Gulf Coast rebuilding efforts. This is the story of a group of students we found working on the repair of a roof on a Baptist church. These students are from a Catholic school in Illinois, and they traveled to the Gulf Coast over their Christmas holiday break.
Well, it's really important that we're starting our mission with a church, because everything starts with the faith. Faith in your God, faith in your friends, faith in help, faith in each other.
I'm Gary Mitchell. I'm a junior at Fenwick High School, and we're all here to help out with the rebuilding of this church here. And it's been a really great experience so far, right, guys? Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but it's really rewarding, and it's just awesome to be able to help other people when they're in need, because you never know when you're going to need help from someone else. And so just spreading our work ethic and our love and our enthusiasm to people who need hope.
Was last year right after Christmas until the New Year. Last year we did drywalling. I was with my family, and I thought it was such a great experience. This year I wanted to bring it to Fenwick, my high school, and have a big group of people come down and help out. So I went to administration, and Mr. Paulette and I got this together, and we came up. There are 47 people down here. What we're doing now is we're taking off roof of houses, and we're gonna put it back together again and hopefully get the shingles up and stuff. This is a Baptist church, and I think this is very special that we're working on a church, considering we're a Catholic school, and that how God has brought all of us together.
Also, New Orleans has sort of been a forgotten cause since Katrina, and we wanted to show that there's still a lot to be done and that it's not even close to being done. As you can see, there's a lot more that needs to be done.
One of the messages we want to send back is that volunteering is very much needed, and that you can always help other people out. You just have to put a little time aside, and you can do it, and it's really rewarding, because it's good to know that your talents and your abilities can be put to use to help other people have a better quality of life.
Hey, my name's Nick Bortolotti. I'm from Elmhurst, Illinois. My sister, who's actually on this trip somewhere else, she had the idea of coming on this work trip. My dad immediately latched on. They both looked expectantly at me, so I said, fine, okay, I'll go. And I'm actually really glad I came. It's been great so far. We're redoing all the roofs in the background, and I'm just glad I get to help out.
And anyone could do this. It's so simple, and you'll get something back, and you're also giving to people that didn't think they could do it on their own. So it's nice to
see volunteer stories, go to www.projectkatrinavolunteers.net.
communication was gone. Cell phones died, nothing worked.
Without the ham radios, we were not able to communicate with our shelters because the phone lines are down. We weren't able to communicate with our other resources like FEMA and MEMA and the Office of Emergency Management.
With no communication whatsoever, with all the systems down, it was very important to Dr. O'Brien.
Communications are extremely fragile, and that tends to be our biggest issue.
As soon as the wind died down just a little, I was up stringing antennas up on the roof. Immediately began to pass emergency traffic, physicians, nurses, any state, bring your license. We need medical supplies, additional vaccines, tetanus.
I was handling HF traffic, emergency traffic, and a lot of it. There were requests for rescue. There were still people trapped in dormitories at some of the universities in New Orleans. I handled a lot of emergency traffic there. Tough. Yeah, let's face it, this is the greatest natural disaster we've had in the United States. It's really been an experience for me, and I'm glad to help.
I wound up setting up in a Walmart parking lot. I was receiving traffic over the HF net, a lot of search and rescue. People trapped in attics, people trapped on roofs. There was a woman in labor with serious complications, and she was not going to make it if she didn't get out. They couldn't get a helicopter into that hospital. The helicopter got into Tulane Hospital, and then they had a boat en route to pick her up. And we had her ready to go, and getting in the boat, she got out safely and got into the chopper. That was a real heartwarming experience.
Because I am from New Orleans, this region is a very deep and super important part of who I am. I had to do something. This is my first emergency as a ham radio operator. We put up an antenna at the Red Cross headquarters in Brookhaven, set them up with a radio base, moved down to Gulfport, did some work there, slept in a school. It's better than sitting home and watching it on TV. It's very difficult for me because I'm from New Orleans. I went ahead and got my ticket after 9/11 because I wanted to be of some use. I love the idea of talking on the radio to people on the other side of the planet who you've never seen. And so I did it so that I would be of use. And it's paid off. It's really paid off.
It was such a relief to myself and Dr. Muller and Dr. Bryan to have Mike and all those people out there that helped to communicate with him. It's definitely a definite, warm, heartfelt thank you from me and from our staff.
Without the ham operators, we really don't have a way to communicate. And I'd like to say to the ham operators that helped us with this hurricane that they have been a wonderful asset. They've always had a smile on their face, they work really long, hard hours, and they were there to support us in every way that they could. So I say a heartfelt thank you from the shelter members, from the staff, and also from the Red Cross.
Cell phones, landline telephones, internet, email. Outside of that, what is there? I mean, if it's all down, it's down, and if you can't get at the airwaves via the ham operators, then there's no communication. Thanks, guys.
Myself personally and the Red Cross truly, truly, truly offers their complete and wholehearted thanks. And I think the American people offer their thanks in that the people in this area are really appreciative of what their efforts are, because from what I understand, you're all doing this as full volunteers, no recompense, you're paying your own way, and that goes really above and beyond anything that I have known before. So a very wonderful, heartfelt thanks, and keep coming back. And if there's anything that we can do for you guys, let us know.
Katrina Relief of Hancock serves the sometimes forgotten residents of the southernmost counties of Mississippi. So many people lost their homes, their businesses, schools, places of worship. All the basics of day-to-day life were literally blown away by Hurricane Katrina. Waveland and Bay St. Louis were ground zero for the hurricane. The Bay Bridge on Route 90 was the connection between these communities and the mainland, but that connection was cut off after the hurricane. A most unlikely hero surfaced and remained steadfast to the people of this community. A transported Australian opened her home to those needing shelter and has not stopped helping those in need for over 3 years since. Her project, Katrina Relief, helps those homeowners and residents throughout the county. This woman is a force to be reckoned with, and even a hurricane cannot top the power of Kathleen Johnson. We'll meet her and find out how her organization has changed the lives of volunteers and survivors in Mississippi.
The volunteers provide a variety of services here. The first thing they do is the first thing they provided was the gutting of the houses. Then we came along and we started to do the refurbishing of the houses. And now we're finding more and more that we're into new construction. And not only that, but the volunteers also fill the gaps in social services. They fill a gap in providing needs for daily maintenance of the people here, because they're so tired that we find that we are out there mowing the lawns, we're running them to doctor's appointments, we're filling in the gaps, trying to find help for them to get their cars fixed, and services that normally would be provided by the community, but the community doesn't have the infrastructure to provide that support right now. So we're running the whole gamut. If there's something wrong and you need some help and you can't afford to pay for it, then they're welcome to walk in our door and we'll try and find a solution. We don't always do the work, but we might know where that resource is. The volunteers mostly come through my website, up online, and word of mouth, because we try, when the volunteers come down here, we try to make sure that it's an experience that is a fulfilling experience and that they've worked hard and made a sincere contribution while they're here. There is no sitting around and waiting for work to come in the door when they come to volunteer with us from 8 o'clock in the morning until whenever they want to stop at night. There's work there in front of them, and they can keep working at their skill level at something that they're comfortable doing a job like this out here today. The volunteers are desperately needed, even more than they were after Katrina, and our website is reliefvolunteers.com, and if they'll go in there and look down on the left-hand side, there's a contact us button, and just give us a call and we'll be glad to get them booked in. We need unskilled and skilled volunteers both, and more importantly, we need office workers and case managers that can come down here and help us write the grants so that we can get the funds to do the work like we're doing today.
To see volunteer stories, go to www.projectkatrinavolunteers.net.